One of the greatest lessons that I learned in a book that I read sometime. Most people know this book, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. There was one particular part in that book which I caught. Said when you're going through any situation, when you have issues, when you're going through any particular things that you're going through in your life, the ability for you to, as an individual, to step out of that situation, step out of it, and look at that situation with another view, is the greatest thing you can do. Because sometimes if you put yourself in that particular issue, the situation can consume you. But if you can step out of yourself,
you have a broader view of
and
things.
Look at it. Would this thing matter in 12 days or in 12 years? Would it matter? How can we now, okay, what are the issues? How can we solve it? Because you've been objective about it. We are not objective about any situation. That's a problem. And until you look it from that perspective to deal with issues, you will never get a headway.
You see, you just hit the nail on one other topic that is pressing on my mind, over the last few days. When I started Insight, it was all to eliminate emotional bias. And some part of me felt like emotions is a problem to all our issues. But lately, as I begin to study and gain knowledge, I realize that the problem isn't emotions. Our emotions are great. The challenge is when it's time to make decisions in life, you need to know how to switch off your emotions. But the problem most people have is that when it's time to make decisions, they turn on their emotions. And that is not a time for emotions to be activated. When you've got to do what you've got to do, emotions stay aside. Bring your emotions to the table when you're having a wedding ceremony, a funeral, birthday. Bring your emotions. Come, let's cry together. Come, let's rejoice together. But when it's time to act, to execute, it's not time to talk about how I feel, because how you feel doesn't matter at that point.
The strength, the knowledge to take something from the ground and draw something else is a great skill. To put something down and to take it on, you need to be able to separate. When you get emotional about things, when you become logical about things, and those kind of two things pay hand in hand. The ability to say no. You might be presented with food, array of food, like no, I'm not taking out of this nice food I just only need to take a cup of tea or water.
It doesn't mean that you don't want those ones, but you know that at this point you don't need those ones because of the direction you're going. The book of life says there is time and a season for everything under the earth. Understanding the time, the place, the season, when and when not to, is key.
Daniel said we were not going to eat out of the king's table. It was a luxurious summer. The
king's meal is amazing.
They said they're not going to eat it. We're not going to take it. They said we will feed on beans. So at that moment, for you to know that, okay, we don't need this lot to progress where we need to go to. Ability to be in the know. Most people don't know.
No. You see, and this particular issue is becoming a big problem in our society because we are dealing daily with people who bring their emotion to places of work, to friendship, to our everyday life. You need someone to hit the ground and run, and they're telling you how they feel. I feel like, how does your feeling pay the bills? How does your feeling count for anything? You see, it is time to deliver. You see, when you were requesting for this job, when you were applying for this job, you said you would do the job. You didn't tell them, I will do the job based on how I feel. You said, I'm going to do the job. So on the job, when it's time to act, it's not time for feeling. But you see, it's part of the challenges we're trying to navigate because we now live in a world where, people want to tell you how they feel, how you should act around them, what you need to do, how to talk to them, how to deal with them. How do you navigate this even in your place of work?
It's very important for you to know when to take some certain action. All right. And people like to project themselves onto things, onto you. All right. The first rule of life, which I like to tell people, the first rule, know thyself. Once you know yourself, when you know what's good for you, because your mental state is very important. All right. Anything that would damage your mental state is expensive. Your peace of mind is expensive. So, and that would be very good. The next thing, which is very important, know
Self.
So the next one is know the audience. Most people don't know their audience. When I go on projects, I'm just going to use my project, my work experience to do. We call them stakeholders. Stakeholders to me in project world is from the CEO,
executive to
the users of people,
users.
Key entries, yes. And when we're going to put it, there's a particular act that we need to do first, which is called stakeholders analysis, stakeholders map. We need to actually document them, the names and category, and their job title and function, and then categorize them into different categories. This CEO, you need to keep them informed on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, or maybe some on a monthly basis, some on a regular basis, maybe twice or thrice a day. So we put them into different groups.
Buckets.
So you need to know your audience, so that once they show, the reason why people get disappointed, because I don't get disappointed anymore, because I've been to understand, I've actually categorized and put you into groups, into grouping, and I know what I'm expecting from you. So if you do something like this with me, because I've already known you are put into this box and this category, I know the expectation of things to get from you. My expectation is quite clear. So I'm not disappointed, I'm not worried, because I know that's what you're going to do. So that's what you need to understand. But we don't kind of know our audience. That's where we get disappointed. That is when we say, oh, the guy hurts me, or you become emotional. But because they've been categorized into different segments and different things, the expectation is known. So you're not surprised, and then you're not offended. Offense is one thing that's rampant in the society.